recording is on now.
All right, thank you. So good morning, everyone, and good afternoon to you all, wherever you're joining us from today. And I just want to use this opportunity to thank you for joining the Data Science Masterclass training. By way of introduction, my name is Wale Omolere. I am the founder of SmartLearning UK and also one of the convener of this today's event. SmartLearning UK, just a bit of intro there and a bit of background information regarding what we do. So SmartLearning UK is a training organization, and we specialize in training cybersecurity and data science related courses with the aim to help trainees secure a job after the training and also to improve on their existing knowledge. So some people are already gig, or they have an idea of what data science is, or perhaps maybe they've come from a different background. They are data scientist or they are data analyst. So if you're such individual, this course might also be for you as well. And there you can also improve your existing skills. Our course range from beginner course up to the advanced levels. So wherever you are in your career, you can start off as a beginner, then move into the intermediate section, then become an expert in data science or cybersecurity. The data science training program would be carried out in collaboration with a company called Logical Operation. So Logical Operation is a leading provider of instructor-led technology training curriculum and also digital learning tools as well. They are based in the United States. It is a pleasure today to have both John and also David Cook. I'm not sure if David is here, joining us from Logical Operation. So John, whom I considered an expert in data science, will be taking us further in this masterclass training, while I would be in the background and with some of my colleagues today, Tosin, John, and also Benga as well, and Timothy will be in the background where we'll be assisting to help answer some of the questions. So we have a chat box. We're using Zoom anyway, so we have the chat box here. So please, by all means, post your question there. We would monitor the chat box, and if there's any question that you want us to, pay any particular attention to, we'll come back to you after the section. After John, after taking us through the training, we'll come back to that, and we would try as much as possible to answer those questions. If there are technical questions, obviously, John will help us out. But please feel free to post your question in the chat box. And again, I just want to say thank you so much for taking the time out on a Friday to join this masterclass training. Trust me, it's going to be worth your time. And I'm hoping to, to hear from you at the end of the section. Any questions at all, please, by all means, and again, post it there. Or if you just want to talk to us, we'll be more than happy to open the section and, we will talk to you. So over to you, John.
Thank you so much, Wally. I really appreciate being here. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock in the morning where I am here in the United States. Good afternoon or good evening, depending on where you are joining us from. My name is John O'Keefe. I work for Logical Operations. We provide instructor-led training materials all across the globe to help individuals who want to train in IT topics. I am the technology education Jedi here at Logical Operations. I've been doing this for many, many, many years. I focus specifically on cybersecurity and data science. I also help instructors who want to learn how to present and teach virtually. So that's what I do, but you're not really here to see me. You're here to learn about data science. So why are you here? There are any number of reasons why a person might be interested in data science for sure. You're here because you want to learn more about something you're already interested in. You're here because you've heard data science tossed around on the internet and you're curious to see what it is. You're here because you're really happy in your career, but maybe you want to take it the next step. Or perhaps you've been one of the millions who have been affected by this pandemic and your career isn't where you want it to be right now. And we are all together to learn a little bit about this data science journey. But why this? Why are we all here on a Friday? Why have we come together to learn about data science? What is it that's driving you to ask questions about this career? What is it that you're trying to get out of this type of experience? Why has data become so important? Is it that important? Can it change your life? These are questions that we really need to ask. So why are we here? That's the big thing I want to understand. And I'm pretty sure I have a good idea because I've been around for a long time in this industry and I've seen the trends. And let me tell you, the trend right now is data. Now, when I was born in 1980, we were at the rise of personal computing. As a matter of fact, I had what was called a Commodore 64. It was one of the first personal computers that was out there. And by the time I was about 10 years old, I already had a computer in my home and I've never looked back. I've had computers my entire life. It's been a passion of mine. So in the 1980s, when Logical Operations was founded, the big training emphasis was just on learning how to use personal computers and the basic applications that came along with them. As businesses started to expand their use of technology, we saw in the 1990s a huge emphasis on basic computer training, basic network training, break-fix training. This was the rise of A+, a CompTIA certification that is still very popular today. Now, as we moved into the 2000s, it became all about web design and development. And yes, that is still huge today. But in the early 2000s, that was the training boom. That was the career that everyone wanted to get into. That was the new thing. And as we moved into the 2010s, just a decade ago, obviously, cybersecurity, virtualization, and cloud computing, still all very popular for training topics with many career options out there for anyone who is skilled in those areas. But we've got a lot of people trained in cybersecurity. We have a lot of people trained in virtualization and cloud computing now. The 2020s, the decade we're in now, the next 10 years of your life is going to be all about data. We have reached a point where we are now collecting and using and trying to understand so much data. And businesses are struggling to find individuals who can help them do that. So if you're here because you want to grow your career, if you're here because you've been hurt by the pandemic and you're looking for a fresh start, data over the next 10 years is going to be where you will find the most success. It is the fastest growing industry on the planet. And we are all lucky that there are so many great training companies out there that can help us with this, like SmartLearning. Now you're here because I've told you that you should be thinking about data. And yes, that is very true. Data, data, data. It is going to drive the next 10 years of businesses. Mark Cuban, an entrepreneur here in the United States, believes that there are 10 great companies that haven't even been founded yet that will change the world based on the massive amount of data that's out there. And organizations that we all know now, things like Facebook and Twitter, Tesla and Amazon, are all predicated upon data. Now, there are 3 things you can really do with data. One, you can help someone analyze it. You can take the data, you can use it in different ways and help make businesses smarter. 2, you can help an organization secure it. That's cybersecurity, and that's still a massive need out there. And training is available, obviously, through SmartLearning on that. So those are 2 major things you can do. The third is ethics. This is a burgeoning field. This is a growing opportunity inside of data, where not only do we want to understand data, but we want to make sure that we're using it in the right ways. So you have 3 options now that you know all about data. You can help analyze it, you can help secure it, and you can help make sure it's used ethically. Today, because each one of those is its own presentation, we're going to talk all about the analyzation of it. We're going to talk about data science and analytics. We're going to talk about why it's happening. We're going to talk about the new data economy and where all this data is coming from. And then we're going to talk specifically about data science skills, whether or not you'd be a good fit for data science, and then some of the things that you do a day-to-day inside of a data science career. Data is exploding because we are in a data-driven economy now. The world's most valuable resource is no longer oil, but data. And that's a really interesting comment. If you think about the top 10 most valuable companies in the world right now, 7 out of the 10 of them are built on the concept of tying data to human behavior. Organizations like Google, Amazon, Facebook, Twitter, they are all predicated on understanding their audience and feeding them the information or the products that they need. While physical production of goods is still important, the data economy is what's really driving this. And small businesses to large businesses are all trying to figure out how they can harness data, put it to good use, make sure they're using it ethically, and derive business values from it. So this is a major new shift in the economy. We are less worried about the physical production of goods and more worried about what we're doing with all the data we have. And that is because we have a truly massive amount of data that's happening around us. If you think about your daily interactions, things that you do every day, you may log on to a computer and send data back and forth, emails, text messages, you're watching videos online, you're doing social media. All of these things are data. And in fact, there will be 74 zettabytes of data will be created this year. A zettabyte is 1 trillion gigabytes. Okay, that means that there will be 250 billion terabytes of data by the year 2025. To give you an idea of how much data that is, your average computer has a 1 terabyte hard drive in it. That means there will be 250 billion terabytes of data, which is more terabytes of data than there are stars in the Milky Way galaxy. So data is absolutely massive. And as you can see by this image here, data is created in all sorts of different places. It's coming from businesses, it's coming from individuals, it's coming from IoT sensors, it's coming from everywhere. So there is no escaping this. Data is the future. With that much data, 250 billion terabytes of data out there, somebody's got to help us understand what it all means. And that's what data scientists do. Now, all of this data creates a massive need for people like you, because 95% of businesses out there need to manage this data. That means 9 out of 10 businesses that you interact with are struggling to do something productive with their data, which is why almost all current data science programs are floundering. 80% of analytics insights right now, so 4 out of 5 businesses are trying to do something with data science and they're failing at it because they don't have you. They don't have skilled, trained, motivated data scientists who are out there and understand their industries and want to help them. One of the big challenges that the data science industry is facing is the fact that 1 out of 2 CEOs consider themselves leaders. Now, I know many CEOs, and I would not think that half of them are data science experts. This means that many organizations are looking for individuals just like you, individuals who can come in and make an impact in their business. And that's why data science jobs are exploding. The World Economic Forum predicts that there'll be 97 million new jobs in data and AI. And that is an absolutely phenomenal number. For those of you that have been affected by the pandemic, or those of you that feel as though you're underemployed, this is a career that is growing. And as you can see in this chart, you've got data analysts and scientists, AI and machine learning specialists, big data specialists, digital marketing. All of those are data careers. All of those are predicated on taking data and making it into an actionable intelligence that a business can use. And that's why there's going to be so many million new jobs for individuals just like you. And that's a massive opportunity. Listen, by 2025, in the next 5 years, there's going to be 190 million jobs created in the digital capacity. And that includes 6 million in cybersecurity, 20 million in data analysis and machine learning, 23 million in cloud, and 98 million in software development. All of these are data driven, and all of these are things that you can train on regardless of your current skill set to become proficient at organizations like SmartLearning. So this is really, if you're sitting listening to this call and you're thinking, what am I going to do in the future? What does my career hold? How can I grow my skill set? This is where you want to take your career. Being able to do something with data, whether it's analyze it, keep it secure, or use it ethically, these are where the growing careers are. Now, it isn't just tech companies that are interested in this. I want to make it very clear that almost all organizations need help with data science, but there are a few key areas where data science is growing faster than others. Things like biotech, transportation and energy, internet companies, financial services, healthcare. They all have massive amounts of data. These are organizations that are global, that are everywhere. Does not matter where you live. And many of these jobs can even be done remotely. So there are tons of opportunities out there for trained data scientists. Now on your right, these are in US dollars, but your average data scientist makes about $95,000 US at entry level. It is in fact the highest paying entry-level job in the United States. There is not a job that pays more for entry-level skill set than data science. And this is echoed throughout the globe, whether you're in Europe, whether you're in Africa, or whether you're in Asia, these numbers hold true. Data science is exploding everywhere, and there are not enough people to do it, so it pays very, very well. Now, as far specifically as Africa goes, interest in data science has exploded on the continent. Africa needs data scientists all across the continent. There are huge job opportunities in sub-Saharan Africa around data science and data science institutions. The pay, it is the most prosperous job currently in the country of South Africa in terms of pay scale. So in terms of Africa, data science is absolutely exploding. Now, as I mentioned before, these jobs can often be done remotely. So many American companies are looking to hire data scientists all across the globe. Remember, data is a language in and of itself. And it doesn't matter what your first language is that you speak. If you speak the language of data, an organization will look to hire you. Now, the European data economy is also exploding. So it's huge in the United States. It's huge in Africa. It's also huge in Europe. If you look at these numbers here, Europe has added 4 million data scientists in the last 4 years. And they have added about 120,000 new organizations that are data driven in the last 4 years. In the UK specifically, the number of AI and data science firms has quadrupled in the last 10 years. And you can see here the data economy is exploding in Europe. $500 billion has been added in the last 4 years alone. And this is just what's happening. This doesn't show you that this is going to continue to massively scale upwards. So whether you live in Europe, Africa, the United States, or these trends are echoed in Asia, data is exploding. All right, hopefully I've got you excited about data. Again, whether you are new in your career and you're looking for something to get into, whether you're transitioning from your current job and want to do something else, whether you've been negatively impacted by the pandemic and you want to reskill to get a piece of this data pie, hopefully you are all very excited about where we're going in the next 10 years when it comes to data. There will be 275 million individuals who are going to train and learn all about data science as their jobs change over the next 10 years. And you can absolutely be one of those individuals. Great. So again, I want to emphasize that anyone can put any questions in the chat and I'm happy to answer them as we go along. But now, for the next 20 minutes or so, I want to talk about what it takes to be a data scientist, what the skills are that you'll do, some data science terms, and understanding where you might fit into the data science ecosystem. Data science is really a combination of 3 things. It's a combination of math, it's a combination of computing skills, and it's a combination of industry or domain knowledge. For math, it's things like multivariable calculus and linear algebra. Understanding these concepts is really important at companies where there's products that aren't defined by data and small improvements can lead to huge wins for the company. It's good to have a background in math. Now, it is not 100% necessary because these skills can be learned through training. You don't need to have a PhD in mathematics to become a data scientist. The second thing that you're really going to want to have is some computing skills. Again, this can be trained at an organization like SmartLearning, which is really great. But as far as computing skills, you're going to look at things like Python, R, database skills. You're going to need things like Excel, Tableau, Power BI. There are many different software programs you can train on to become a data scientist. But having those basic computer skills are essential. If programming and Excel and programs like that don't interest you at all, then data science is not going to be a great career for you. But if you're at all interested in those things, then data science can be something that you can explore. Finally, it really helps to understand the business that you work for. There are many companies, as I alluded to, 4 out of 5 companies that have data science programs that aren't getting good value from them. And the reason they're not getting good value is because the people who are doing their data science don't understand their businesses. You have to know math, you have to know programming and computer skills, but you also have to understand business. So if you have a keen mind for a business that you work for and you're interested in math and computer science, data science could really be a career for you. Now, let's talk about the 2 different roles that really exist within data science and what you can do about them. I've got a question here. How can one be an entrepreneur with data science? Well, the first thing is you're going to need to understand the skill sets. You have to train in data science. You're going to need to understand exactly what skills you can bring to an organization. The second thing you're going to have to do is get really proficient at certain domains. The biggest thing that a lot of companies are lacking right now when it comes to data science skills is the data scientists don't really know what to help a business with. The joke that I always use is a lot of academic data scientists are more interested in figuring out why the dinosaurs died than they are in why your shipping costs have gone up 4% quarter over quarter. So if you want to be an entrepreneur in data science, one, you're going to have to train. You're going to have to grow your skill set. You're going to have to really become a data science master. 2, you're going to have to pick some industries and understand them very well. And then you can have consulting services to go out and offer businesses your services, because there are so many businesses out there that are failing with this. But if you come in and know the business really well and are a good data scientist, you can absolutely have a great data science consulting firm. So inside of data science, there are really 2 career paths. The first is being a data analyst. Now, a data analyst is an individual who knows programs like Excel, who knows programs like Tableau and Power BI, and can help an organization take small sets of data, structured amounts of data, and make them, help them make better business decisions with them. Data analysts, this is typically more of an entry-level job. They typically make around $60,000 here in the United States. They're good with people, they're good with data, but there's no advanced skills necessary to become a data analyst. And as a matter of fact, this is the type of thing that with 6 weeks or so of training, as long as you have a keen mind, you can get into very quickly. And there are huge opportunities out there for data analysts. Most organizations will have hundreds of data analysts where they may only have a few data scientists. So if you're interested in learning Excel, Tableau, Power BI, the basics, then the data analyst career could be for you. And it is a great transitioning point from other careers that are out there. Now, if you want to become a full data scientist, that's going to take a lot more work, but it is still very possible to do at an organization like SmartLearning. The first thing you're going to need to learn are things like Python. You're going to need to understand NumPy, Matplotlib, Pandas. You're going to want to look at becoming a certified data science practitioner or a certified AI practitioner, as data science and artificial intelligence go hand in hand. This is a longer training process, but rewards you with a higher salary, and also it is a more prestigious job. If you have a keen interest in learning program or you already know some programming, data science is absolutely a career path that can be explored without necessarily needing a specific college degree for this. Data scientists spend a lot of time inside organizations ideating and creating very specific programs. Now, whether you want to do a data analysis track or data science track, I can't speak to that for you. You have to know your own limitations. I will say that if you have no experience with data, you should start with the data analyst track, and then you can transition to data science at the end. The things you'll learn as a data analyst are very, very valuable when it comes to becoming a data scientist. But either option is open to you through SmartLearning. Now, inside of data science, there are really 4 different things that happen. The first thing is that there is data collection. So there are data points all across an organization. There are data points that exist all outside of an organization. So one of the things that data scientists have to figure out is, how am I going to get all this data? How am I going to put it together? How am I going to make sure it's good? The second thing they have to do is comb through the data to try and find patterns. Now, oftentimes this is automated. Oftentimes this is done through programming. But that's really important. And that's where a data analyst can come into play, is helping to find these values. In small organizations, they're going to be the ones kind of doing all of this. In large organizations, this is going to be divided into a team. Now, it doesn't do you any good to get all of this data if you can't extract some value out of it and then present it. So data scientists need to be aware of what the business is looking for. And then they need to have some artistic skills too, to be able to properly present this data to individuals. Now, someone asked here about R and that is another programming language. There is Python and there is R. Python is by far and away the most popular programming language on the planet. It is used heavily in data science. R is another programming language that is also used in data science. I always suggest people learn Python first. It makes learning R easier, and Python can help you in many types of projects, not just in data science, where R as a language is usually isolated in the data science realm. So I always recommend learning Python first. There are lots of things that you can learn inside of data science, like Jupyter and other programming languages, but I recommend starting with Python to get going with this. Now, data science doesn't just fall on one person. There's typically 5 different roles that exist in a data science team. The first is what we call the data wrangler. And this individual is responsible for getting all of the data from disparate data sets and bringing it together. This can be a very challenging job, and it requires a lot of good programming and web understanding. The second role inside of a data science team is the detective. This is usually your database scientist who can go through and find the good data versus the bad data. Now, they may be designing algorithms to do this, or they may be doing it manually, depending on the team, but they are the individual who's responsible for making sure that all the data is good. Remember, your insights are only as good as the data you're collecting. And if you have a bad data set or data that doesn't really relate to the problem you're trying to solve, your data becomes worthless. The third role on a data science team is the artist. And this is the person who designs all of the data visualizations that are out there. They're the ones who can help you understand what it is that you've found when you've gone through your data. The fourth role is the automator, and this is typically someone who specializes in machine learning. Machine learning is the design of algorithms, so that way these projects can be set and forgot. It's really important inside an organization that once you create a successful data science project, that you're able to automate it. Otherwise, you'll be spending all your time doing manual work and you'll never be able to move on to the next project. Finally, the last role is the connector. And this is the person who goes to the boardroom and presents the findings. They typically have a good understanding of data science, but may come from a sales background and are good at speaking to individuals. Now, on a team, any given data science team, all of these roles might be filled by one person. So you may be the wrangler, the detective, the artist, the automator, and the connector. You may be on a large data science team where you're only responsible for one or two of these things. Depending on your skill set, You could be very excited right now. If you're creative, but also want to love data, you could be a data artist and design beautiful visualizations. If you're the kind of person that likes to go through data and is very detail oriented, you could be a detective. If you love programming, the automator could be for you. So any of these roles are available. Some organizations will have one person doing all of them, and some organizations will have an individual for each of them. Now, when you think about the data detective and you think about the data wrangler, they're really trying to figure out different types of data. Now, the big thing in data analytics are there are 3 different types of analytics that you can perform. So data science really does 3 things. The first is descriptive. Descriptive analytics is the form of data analytics that you use past behavior to summarize what happened. This is what a lot of businesses struggle with. They have all of this customer data, they have all this data from the internet, but they can't put it together to figure out what happened. Why did our sales go down? We know they went down, but we don't know why. That's descriptive analytics. It is arguably the easiest way to do data science. The second is predictive analytics. Predictive analytics wants us to figure out what will happen in the future. It is a way of using old data to make guesses about what will happen in the next 6 months, a year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years. A lot of businesses want this. They want to know that their next few years will be good, or they'll be bad, or what they need to do in order to make smart decisions. So the third type of analytics is prescriptive. Prescriptive analytics is the method of having data present you choices. So this is the most difficult of the 3 when it comes to the basic data analytics paths. Prescriptive analytics will give you choices. It will say, if you do the following, then these situations will occur. So here are 3 choices you can make. You can either increase inventory, you can increase staff, or you can raise the price of your products. And these are the likely results of each one of these. So it gives you a choice to do those things. So these are the 3 basic types of data analytics that you would do on a day-to-day basis. Along with that, there are 3 different types of data. There's structured data, unstructured data, and semi-structured data. Most organizations have structured data. This is just data that's already contained. It's easy to access. You can use programs like Excel, Tableau, or Power BI to get at it. Unstructured data is data that doesn't have any organizational hierarchy to it. It's data that you may need to write a program to understand. And semi-structured data lives between the 2. So as a data wrangler, you're going to be looking at these types of data. And as a data detective, you're going to be trying to comb through data that makes sense, data that doesn't make any sense, and data that kind of makes sense when you're going through your day-to-day progressions. A lot of organizations, smaller businesses, have tons of structured data and they don't really have anything else because they're only collecting data from a few sources. Larger businesses have structured, unstructured, and semi-structured, which creates a big mess of data that as a data scientist, you'll need to sort through. So on any given day, you'll be working with things that make sense, things that don't make any sense, and things that make some sense, which is really exciting if this is a career that you want to push forward with. Now, we've talked about the artist as well. And so what do they do? Well, an artist is responsible for taking data like you see on your screen here, something that we could probably dig into, but would have to spend a lot of time combing through and trying to understand and figuring out who did what and all of that. And they're responsible for taking it and turning it into something like this. This is a map of adults who sleep less than 7 hours per night. The data is represented at the bottom, and this map came from a single Excel spreadsheet. Now, that Excel spreadsheet is very challenging to get through, but within a minute or two of looking at this map, we can start to make some inferences from here. We can start guessing as to why certain areas of the United States don't sleep well. As someone from here, I can tell you that it could be due to climate. Many of the areas that don't sleep well have a warmer climate. That could have something to do with it. It could have something to do with economics. A lot of the areas that sleep well are more industrial centers, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. There are many things we could guess. We don't really know the answers, but the idea here is that we want to go from an Excel spreadsheet or some various form of structured or unstructured data, and we want to create these beautiful visualizations. Somebody asked earlier about being an entrepreneur. If you can provide data insights that are easy to understand, that any business can make a decision based off of, then you can absolutely make tons of money doing data science, because that's what every business is looking for. Now, it isn't just enough for us to kind of find the data, do some analytics, and then put it to rest. A lot of businesses, once they get a valuable insight, will want it repeated. And the easiest way to do that is through machine learning. Now, I'll tell you, machine learning is a function of artificial intelligence. And artificial intelligence and data science go hand in hand. So if you are excited about data and you think artificial intelligence is the next big thing, and it is, this is the perfect career path. Now, this requires a lot of programming and math understanding to create these things called algorithms, which basically train computers how to think and make predictions. There are many different types of machine learning. There's supervised, unsupervised, there's referential learning, reinforcement learning, et cetera. All of this is a deep dive into AI, which is something that SmartLearning can provide you. But the basics of machine learning are this: you create an algorithm, and that algorithm tells the computer how to make a prediction. You feed some data into the computer. Maybe it's data you have in the past where you know what happened. Maybe it's data where you don't know what happened. The computer will then take that data and it will evaluate and make predictions. Now, when it makes those predictions, it will learn whether it's right or wrong, and then it will rewrite its own algorithms to improve. So as you are finding these data insights and they're turning out to be true, you're using things like prescriptive analytics and you're making guesses and the guesses turn out to be good, the computer will start feeding you more information that's similar to the guesses that you've made very good. If you've ever used a social media app, right? If you've ever used Facebook or Twitter or TikTok and you've liked a post, that tells the Facebook algorithm to give you more information like that. If you've ever clicked on an advertisement, that tells the Facebook algorithm to give you more information. And that's exactly what machine learning is. That is a discipline within inside of data science that anyone can get into. So those are some basic things about data science. We know about data analytics. We know about machine learning. We know about data visualization and the different types of data. We know that inside a data science opportunity, there could be 5 different roles. You could be the detective. You could be the wrangler. You could be the visualizer or the connector. You could be the person who helps automate. All of these things are open for eager minds to grow their careers. And that is what SmartLearning is here to help you do. These are examples of training paths that you can get into to learn about data science. Now, I want to tell you, if you are new on this call to anything data related, there are 2 great courses that SmartLearning can offer you. One is called Artificial Intelligence Biz, and the other is called Data Science Biz, AI and DS Biz. These are introductory courses that go more in depth than what I've done today on the topics that I've started to cover. I personally teach both of these and can help SmartLearning deliver this content to you. SmartLearning can deliver it themselves. AI and DSBiz are a great place if you really just want to learn more, and they get you some badges and industry credentials when you take them, so organizations can see that you've started your data science journey. If you want to be a data analyst, my suggestion to you is to start with Excel. Excel is used in over 99% of businesses. It's for about 80% of businesses. It's their primary data science tool. So you can start with some basic Excel learning. That will get you on your path. If an organization uses Tableau or Power BI, you can take those types of courses. That would get you to a data analyst position, and you can take this training in a few weeks. Now, introduction to data science is really going to be about learning programming. Again, I suggest Python first. Now, I want to make it very clear. Somebody asked about Kaggle, and I want to be clear here. There are about 50 different data science programming languages. There's about 50 different data science tools. There are lots of ways to explore the data science journey. And every one of those tools has its own place and value. My talking point here are to individuals who don't have a background in this. So the first thing you need to do is get a background. You need to learn Python. I will die on this hill. Python is the most ubiquitous programming language in the world. It is the most often used in data science. It far surpasses R. And if you learn Python and data science doesn't work out, there are about 1,000 other careers you can go into that use Python. So I always suggest to people that they start their data science journey by learning Python. SmartLearning can provide you with an intro, advanced, and data science course specifically around Python. Once you've decided that data science is the career for you, I would recommend becoming certified in data science and AI, and that is something that SmartLearning can also do. There are lots of different other things you can do. For example, you can learn SQL, you can learn modern database design, you can learn other Python skills. And finally, you can become a certified ethical emerging technologist. That is an exploding field right now, trying to understand how we're going to use all of this technology ethically. So there are many ways to get started with your data science journey. All of these things can be training that you can get from SmartLearning. You don't necessarily need a college degree, and you can start today. Yep, sorry, froze. I know, it happens every once in a while. And so you can start today. You can start this journey today. And that's really it. Now, SmartLearning has some really great things they can do beyond just offering you the training. And I'm going to turn it back over to Wally so he can finish up our presentation here.
All right, thank you so much, John, for your time today. You have completely demystified the mysteries behind data science. Nothing too hard, nothing to remove. You have just blown our minds away. I believe the question most people are asking now would be, where do we go from here? What are the next steps? How do I register for this course? And that's the sort of question that I believe most people, would have in their mind at the moment. And this is where SmartLearning come in collaboration with logical operation. So on top of what you're going to be getting, because we believe that people are in different places or different stages in their career at the moment. Some people are just starting. Some people just know what data science is from theoretical viewpoint. Some are just learning about the thorns of opportunities that are out there today, as you know, if you help us to understand. Some are university, students. Some don't even have a university or degree at all, and they are just wondering, all of these things sounds very good, wonderful. How can I become part of it? So on top of what you're going to be getting in the training, the presentation slide that you can see before you, we call it the candidate's journey. This is what we do very well in Smart Learning, and also in collaboration with Logical Operation and SATNESS as well. So today, we have had the opportunity to learn about all the opportunities that is there. And for some of you that's going to be wanting to take this further, there would be a link that one of my colleagues will share with, on this platform anytime soon. You could register so that we can contact you anytime that you want. But what I'm going to be talking about in the next few minutes is particularly around this candidate's journey. People are in different places in their life, and some people might just be wondering, oh, can I actually do this? Oh, Python, maybe it's just too difficult. I don't have a university degree. Do you think I can do this, Wale? Or do you think I can do this journey? And that's what we do. That's what we offer in Smart Learning. By helping you, hand-holding you, supporting you up until the time that you become that data scientist that you so much desire. So we start this journey off, by the pre-course training. So if you decide that this is for you, there would be another meeting once you register that we're going to schedule with you. It would be one step higher than what John has just shown us today, where we're also going to be looking at all the opportunities, and we'll spend quality time talking about all the certifications and the courses and what you will learn as well. For some of you that are unsure, we will do what we call the personality trait assessment with you, just to get a bit of understanding of where you have come from and your background as well. You would agree with me that people are different. Quite a number of people would have some inherent skills that you have that you are not even aware of. So with the personality trait assessment, we can help you to uncover that and also point you in the right direction, whether data science or maybe other cybersecurity courses is best for you. Once we do that and you're happy to go ahead with the training, we'll do what we call the candidate onboarding. This is where we will share with you before the training materials in data science that would help you, because we want you to come armed into the training. We don't just want you to just get into the training and you're wondering what this is all about. So there would be a whole lot of materials that we're going to share with you when we're onboarding you onto our platform before the training. That would help you, prepare you for the actual training itself. Then the training will take place. So the training, which is the 4th level, the training would be it would be in conjunction with Smart Learning and Logical Operation. The training would, in terms of the duration of the training, we would come back to you on that one, especially for those that's going to be registering with us. It's not, again, just the training, it's a program. So if you think about the 5th step, which is the practical, the tell and show. So this is not just going to be theoretical at all. We're going to be taking some practical steps. So whatever that you have learned in the course of the training, you will get the opportunity to actually put them into practice. And for those, that want to take, again, this, you want to go and apply for a job with this, we will support you with CV mentoring and also with CV review as well. We're creating a community of data scientists in Smart Learning. And for those that are interested and want to join us, we have a group for cybersecurity already, and we're also creating another group for data science. And it does not really matter where you are in your career at the moment. So whether you're an expert or whether you're just starting out, one thing that we do very well in Smart Learning is the ability to support people, is the ability to handhold you up until the time that you feel confident and you can now start to apply for a job. And the last on the program that you can see here in the candidate's journey is, when somebody secures a job. But before you secure a job, you would agree with me that you have to be interviewed. And this is where we also come in as well. We've been doing this in the last 7 years. So we're quite experienced in that area, understanding your need and also ability to support you with interviews. So usually with the interview prep, this is where we get experts on the call, supporting you. We get the job description, and before the interview, we get few experts on the call, to understand what the job is, and also to provide you with insight on how you can actually smash that interview. And the end is you securing a job. And if you secure a job, you still want to be part of SmartLearning. We have our alumni. All right, the alumni of SmartLearning, those are people that have passed through our training, people that have been successful and also secured a job, well, in cybersecurity and in data science as well. So you become part of our alumni, and you can also contribute to the platform. There's also something we do very well as well. We call this post-training support. So it does not really matter whether you start off with us and you secure a job immediately, but as long as you're part of this little family that we have, you would always get support from us at any time that you need it. So this journey that you see here has been tested, we've tried it, we've studied, it has always worked. So beyond we actually training you, we want to be a part of that journey, supporting you up until the time that you feel comfortable to apply for a job, even to the point where you secure the job. So my colleague Tosin would have posted the link there. This is my contact information for those that are interested. Don't forget here, we're actually doing this whole training in collaboration with Logical Operation and SAT Nessus. The plan is in the next 3 months, for those that's going to be registering with us, we want to get up to 100 people in the next 3 months. This might seem like a very tall ambition, but that's exactly what we wanted to do. We want to get up to 100 people job ready in the next 3 months. 100 people job ready. So I said earlier on that the plan that we have is we're going to create a community of data science entities and also specialists as well, and those that wanted to come into that space. So if that is you, if that's what you want to do, please by all means, reach out to us. We have our telephone number both in the UK and also in Africa, Nigeria. You can reach out to me on my LinkedIn profile. We have a link posted in the chat box. Complete that link, and we can also reach out to you as well. We're so excited about what data science what data science is, and the job opportunity. And for those that also want to go into business with it as well, the opportunity that lies therein. So please, by all means, complete that form, and we would reach out to you. If you have any question for us, the floor would be open. You can post your question there. I'm going to be looking at the chat box. I don't know if John has answered all the questions that is there. So if you have any question for us, please, by all means, let us know. We would be more than happy to answer your question. We can post the recording in the next few minutes. If there are any questions, if you want to raise your hand up, we would unmute you, and you can ask myself or John any questions that you want. Any questions for us? All right, somebody's raising up their hands there. So Kemi Thompson. Kemi, do you want to unmute yourself and answer and ask your question, please?
Hi, hi John. Hi, Wale.
Hi.
Present. It was really very insightful. So I just want to know to what being a cloud architect. So I know I would have data coming in through my IP, for example, or if I've got like images going into my bucket, on AWS. So I just know to what level do I need to be able to use data science to help with organizing such data.
John, do you want to help with that question?
Well, it's really going to depend on what you're trying to do, right? Because AWS has platforms. So if you're talking AWS specific, AWS has analytics engines already built into it to do that. Most of the time, places like, services like that will do some of the analytics for you. And so if you're talking about just cloud architecture and you are using a platform like AWS or Azure or Google, they have analytics engines for you. Most of the time where you'll see data science in cloud is you're going to see it in the data wrangling portion. It's getting the data from these different cloud subsets and pulling them down. And then you're going to run your own algorithms against that because there's something very specific you wanted to do. So a lot of businesses, when they're looking for understanding their data, that's a component of the data analyst career, right? If they're exclusively using a cloud vendor like AWS, they're going to want to be able to have someone who understands how to use the analytics built into that. It's when you get into bigger companies where they need to go beyond the analytics that are available in a cloud platform that you're going to want to pull the data off of the cloud and run your own algorithms against it.
Okay, thanks, John. So
Yeah.
to what level, I mean, if I want to have an understanding of data analytics, so to what level do I, need to?
Well, there's two different ways to go about that. One is that I would very much suggest getting a good handle on Excel. The reason being is that oftentimes you can import data very easily off of a cloud platform into Excel. And there's a lot of data visualization you can do with Excel, and Excel is a pretty easy program to learn. The second thing is that you're going to want to explore the specific cloud platform even further. With AWS, for an example, AWS has its own analytics training that you would really want to dive into because their feature set's pretty robust. Now you're paying for that when you pay for AWS. So you need to learn how to use it. And that's something that that's training in and of itself. I didn't include that type of specific cloud vendor training in this type of class because that is specific to the vendor. So that's something, but you could absolutely dive into that. I would start getting really comfortable with Excel because if all else fails, you can pull data off and do some analyzation work inside of Excel.
Okay. Thank you, John.
Yep.
All right. Thank you, John, for that. So there are a few questions in the chat box. If you have any question, please, by all means, you can raise your hand and we would unmute you so that you can ask your question. So someone is asking, this is going to be free? No, the actual training or the premium training is not going to be free. It's going to be, you have to pay for it. If you're interested, Samuel, by all means, the link is there. Complete the form and we would reach out to you. But trust me, this is going to be heavily discounted. This is the first time we're doing a data science related training, and we want to ensure that, we just want to encourage people. But the actual training itself is going to be a live training. So you're not watching video, you're not watching a pre-recorded video, if I can put it that way. It's going to be live training, so you're going to be talking to someone that's an expert in this area. Another question here by Guy Kololuajuwon says, are there internship opportunity for students in data science? Not at the that we have in SmartLearning, but if it's something that you're looking to do, keep in touch with us. We might have something for you now or in the future.
Now, I just want to let you know they exist.
Okay.
Yeah, there are tons of data science internship opportunities out there. More specifically, there's a lot of places will skip the internship and hire you if you have the right skill set.
Okay.
So yeah, I know that's not something that you specifically do, but they exist out there. But again, more specifically, there are about 10 times as many job openings for data scientists and data analysts than there are people to fill the career. So for every 10 postings, there's one person with the skill set to do it. So when you learn these types of skills, you are instantly employable.
Got it. Okay, so what you would recommend is, so for this gentleman that have asked this question, we recommend that learn the skills, then you're employable.
Yes, absolutely. If you have these skills, then you are in a position where you can make a lot of money very quickly.
Good. I like the one, a lot of money. I think there's another question about whether the training is going to be physical or online. It's going to be online training. It's going to be an instructor-led training. So it's not going to be one of those pre-course recorded training. It will be the one that you're going to interact with an instructor. So it's going to be virtual. So there's another question. Is there any specific entry qualification needed to join the course track? For instance, being a science track student in high school. I think, John, you talked about that. You quickly want to comment on it again in terms of entry qualification.
So if it helps to have an interest in math, but it's not necessary. If you have no skills in this, if you're just learning about what this is right now, I would suggest taking an AI or DS Biz class and learning more about this. And then if you're still interested, all you need is a keen mind and be excited about learning programs like Excel. And that's where you start. And I am convinced that anyone who's got a good mind and is excited about this can start with Excel and end up being a data scientist.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. Somebody was asking the question about in the course duration. We reckon that this is going to take, the program and including the practicals and everything I'm going to be showing you, helping you with your resume as well. We reckon that this is going to take 4 good weeks. So we will train you, then every other thing that we mentioned during the course, during the candidate's journey. We will train you, get you ready, then support you from there as well for those they may want to try their, try out the job that is in the marketplace. So that's exactly the kind of duration that we think, the kind of, the time that this would take. I'm interested in the training. I'm already a data analyst. I would like to advance. How many months do I need to get before I certify? So again, we have that certification track that John has shared with us. If it's okay, Adiola, my colleague, is going to share the link with you. So complete that. Complete the information in the link and we will reach out to you to support you. It's also important that she let you know that we're going to be having what we call the pre-course. So today, today is kind of general where we're talking to everybody, but with the pre-course, we will spend a quality time one-on-one with the individuals to understand your journey, where you are. It's very, very important as well. And for you are a data science already, a data analyst already. So perhaps you know how to understand how to slice and dice, data using Excel. Maybe for others, you have not just come from a different background entirely, and it does not really matter, what background you have come from. And if you're really keen and you're interested in data science, we will listen to you, we will support you, then we'll also advise you on how to get into the space. All right. Somebody's asking how many hours for each of the training. So like I said, this is going to be a live training and we're going to spread it across 1 month. Okay. We understand some people, they work in the daytime. So, you can't just, take off, you can't, take 1 month off just because you want to study data science. So having said that, what we normally do in Smart Learning is for each of our courses, particularly even with the data science as well, we would, train you, 2 hours training in a day, across multiple days. So 2 hours in a day across multiple days. And what that would help you to do is you don't have to leave your paid employment at the moment. You don't have to lose anything. You don't have to lose money. You're still working while you're also, getting trained as well. And after the training, then, you can start to apply for jobs. I hope that helps you. So, it would be across multiple days, but every day is going to be 2 hours. Okay. I hope that helps. And also just to let you know as well with the candidate's journey, if you take the slide, to the candidate's journey, we'll be rounding up shortly. For the candidate's journey, and maybe for those that just joined us, we said that for everyone that have registered, what we'll do is we would reach out to you. We would have another pre-course training section, We would have a one-on-one section with you as well to understand your background and where you're coming from, so that we can make the right recommendations of the courses for you. All right. It's good that you can go online, and check all of the details out. But sometimes, even it's better for you to speak to an expert, all right, that would advise you further and on the courses that you on the list of courses that you can choose from, particularly the certification track. All right, it's better for you. And for those that you even have a data science background, everything is possible. It is doable if you're willing to learn. But we're going to be spending time with you as well, to assess your knowledge, where you have come from. There might just be some transferable skills that you have that you can bring into the data science space. All right, and if data science is not for you at all, and you're still very much keen about other things, maybe cybersecurity, then we can advise you further. So I said that the level 3 days where we do the candidate onboarding. Before the training, we will again send you materials that you can read ahead before you join the actual training. So what we wanted to do is we want to arm you with information before coming into the live training itself. And like I said, the live training would take for a period of 1 month. And this will include practical, which is a tell and show. Then after that, if you're comfortable, you're ready, have to start to go to the marketplace to apply for jobs. You will write your own CV, or we could even point you to an organization. We'll work with some organization that would help you to write your CV up, make it nice and tidy and professional as well. And once you do that, you're happy to start to apply for jobs. Then what follows is usually the mock interview or interview preparation. And afterwards, you secure the job, and you can become part of our alumni if you want. I don't know if there are any other questions there.
Yes, there's a question from Talabi. He said, is the certificate industry recognized?
Yeah, I believe so. John, do you quickly want to comment on the certificate?
Yeah, there's lots of certifications in the training path that I shared. I'm going to go back to this slide here. Anything with a check mark next to it has an industry recognized certification from CertNexus. And then the Python certifications are available. Microsoft Excel has certifications that are available. Tableau and Power BI have certifications that are available. So any of these really all have industry certifications that go with them. The ones with the check marks have highly recognized, accredited industry certifications that go with them.
Fantastic. On top of that as well, so once you complete this training, we also give you a certificate of participation from SmartLearning. And we're a member of an accreditation body here in the UK as well. So you will get, a certificate of participation. Then you would also get, if you do any of those certification track, you will get those, industrial recognized, certificate as well. Any other question, Tosin?
You have people raising their hands. Oluwafemi, do you?
Okay.
Let me ask you to unmute.
Do you want to unmute him? As long as I think Hassan Idris also raised up his hand as well.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hi.
Okay, good afternoon. Thank you for a wonderful presentation.
Great.
So like my own is like, in terms of the courses we'll be doing, is there any course contents, or are you going to share the course content with you? And
Yes.
also I put a question on the chat box
about
the inferential analytics. Where does inferential analytics fall? Because I saw predictive analytics, descriptive, and prescriptive. I don't know where inferential analytics fall.
Okay, I can ask the first question. What was your first question again? Sorry.
Okay, my first question was talking about the content. I think you have answered that. You say yes, they will share the course contents with us.
Absolutely. Yeah, we will share that with you before the training. All you just need to do now is this Azan. I don't know who's talking, but register, use the link to see if you can post the link again. Ensure that you register, and we will share the course outline and the learning objectives with you as well. All right, John, do you want to quickly help him with the other question?
Yeah, you don't often use inferential analytics in data science because you're typically not trying to assume anything about a population. The point of data science is to not have to assume anything about a population set. It can be used if you're trying to take an incomplete data set, and extrapolate it out. But usually data scientists work with the data that they have. Now, in very large, very deep data sets, when you're doing what's called deep learning, which is a subset of machine learning, and you're using a neuron-based artificial intelligence modality, that's where inferential statistical analysis really comes into play in the algorithm. So when you're doing deep learning is a method of artificial intelligence which does not have a value associated with the problem you're trying to solve. So I'll give you an example. With machine learning, I can show a computer 1,000 photos and 50 of them have human faces in it. And I can kind of teach it what a human face looks like, because I know what I want it to do is find human faces in photos. So I can teach it what a human face looks like. In deep learning, what you do is the computer will learn what a human face is from millions of photographs, but it will learn it on its own. And that's where inferential usually comes into play. But that is so far down the path of what you do. Most data scientists don't really get into this.
All right, thank you for
Yeah,
that
that's
explanation.
a long answer for a short question. I'm sorry.
That's all right. Well, thanks for that. Tosin, do we have any other person? I think Hassan. Then we have Ade.
Yeah, Hassan and Adetola.
Do you want to take Hassan first? Hassan,
hello?
do you? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Good afternoon. Okay. Hassan.
Yeah, go for it, Hassan.
Okay. Currently, let me say I have my certificate, or let me